That was so joyful and so wonderful. And I'm feeling, in this day of trans visibility, quite the opposite. I'm like pretty not feeling it. I'm a professional, and I'm putting it on and masking and getting it through, but I have not been feeling particularly great about being trans in this moment. And again, my name is Em. I've been on hormone replacement therapy for like a year and 8 months as of tomorrow, actually. Yeah. And for those of you who don't know, especially with estrogen, there is this like kind of lull period that happens around a year and a half where the changes don't get as sort of pronounced, and it can feel a little bit like the doldrums, like nothing's happening. You don't feel like you're kind of seeing yourself anymore in the mirror. To the point where, like, what I do when I see myself in the mirror is I kind of imagine the Kool-Aid man bursting out. Kind of a round belly, some sort of strange liquid sloshing around in there. Only I think I have progressed enough where it's not quite Kool-Aid man, it's more like Kool-Aid them. Just bursting through and going, oh! And it's tough because, like, I am a visible trans woman here. I obviously work for Spectrum. I speak all the time on behalf of Spectrum. I also perform comedy. I talk about my life all the time. And so I feel quite, like, visible all the time. And if I think about that in relationship to my own viewing of myself, there's, like, a lot of dissonance and dysphoria and just trying to be real with y'all. That this is, like, a thing that I feel and I struggle with. And especially right now, given what I know is going on in the United States. So I'm about to go into the section of my little set that's going to be very depressing, and I just want to remind you, profane and the sacred, sacred and the profane. Okay, we're going to hang on, we're going to get through this together. Because in Kansas, they are taking away trans people's driver's licenses, which means they can get arrested for driving to pick up their medication. And I've said in many a set elsewhere that there is now a practice of moving trans prisoners to the prison of their sex assigned at birth, not the one that they identify as, which can in many cases be kind of like a death sentence to many trans people. There's bills in Tennessee that are asking to form a registry of people who use gender-affirming care, which certainly in the 1930s was meaning really good things for trans people back then, so I'm sure it means good things now. I did say to someone the other day, like, I left the United States back in June to come here, and I really did feel like my transition then was like converting to Judaism in 1933 in Germany. Yeah, it's a bad joke. It's not comfortable. It's not funny because it's so fucking true to what's going on there right now. To the point where, like, recently, I know there's stuff going on in Canada too. We have Alberta, the notwithstanding clause. We have laws happening in Saskatchewan and Quebec, even some stuff going on here in Ontario. And just the other day, my dad's hopes for me were truly dashed because trans women are no longer allowed to compete in the Olympics. I was a competitive swimmer for 10 years, from age 8 to 18. Went through my full initial puberty. Oops, wrong place, wrong time. I got extremely slow as I got heavier, building more muscle. The only thing I was good at was a super long distance mile run or swim. I got very good at suppressing all of my feelings in order to try and please my father. I wonder why it took me so long to realize that I was trans. So that's that portion of this set. That's where we're at. That's the visibility that I hear from the wider world, right? I am a monster. The reason these laws are being enacted because otherwise they're protecting, young women from being predated on by me. Which is silly. That's the President of the United States. Don't need to worry about that with me. On the other end, though, as an outwardly visible trans woman, I do want to name, especially for cis allies who are here in this room, that sometimes the positive side of it can be just as uncomfortable. Because, for example, before I moved, this was right after Trump had these executive orders that were talking about there's only two sexes, there's boys and there's girls, back in February of 25. I went to a party, and I was out for, 6 months, and this cis girl came up to me, very drunk, kind of at the end of the night, and she, immediately, without consent, just, ran her hand up my arm, in this, very, almost sensual way, and she was like, Em, I just want you to know, which, great, use my name, that's good. And I just want you to know, you are so valid. You're just like so valid. And I really, in that moment, I was truly frozen. But inside, what I wanted to say was, bitch, I know. I know I'm valid. What do you think I've been doing all this work for? Turn myself into this for? I don't need you to validate me. I need you to verify your credit card information on my GoFundMe. I've been told by many people, especially cis allies, that you're so brave. You're so brave to be yourself. And while I do think it took a lot of courage to go through what I went through to figure out who I was and decide it was worth saying fuck you to pretty much everyone in existence to honor and love myself, I have to wonder, is it that I'm so brave, or is that everyone else is so fucking afraid all of the fucking time? We're getting to a place right now in society where, like, when my dad, first, we were on a phone call, I was coming out to them as being a trans woman. He had all these questions, this doctor, right? So he's doing his differential diagnosis, he's asking all these questions. When he got to the end of his questions, I could tell he had one more. I was like, what is it, Dad? And he's like, well, I just want to know, like with relationships, does anyone... And I mean, like, that was the end of his question. But what he was asking was, does anyone love trans people? And it is a question for many people in society right now. In fact, their answer is, fuck no, let's kill them. Let's lock them away, let's get them out of sight. They're scaring us, they're freaking us out. Let's put them away. Screw them. Screw them indeed. But when I'm thinking about Trans Day of Visibility, I think about visibility, I think about being seen. Certainly it's an important aspect to love, but it is not the only aspect. It does not stop there. I don't want a Trans Day of Visibility. I could use a Trans Day of Vacation, Susan. There it is. I forgot about it, but I brought it back around. I don't need a Trans Day of Visibility. What I need is a Trans Day of fucking hugs.
Yeah.
I went through a breakup recently, and I was at a Spectrum Sports program. It was at pickleball, for those of you who know pickleball. Cheers, pickleball. Woo! Too few of you here. And I didn't feel, like, Kool-Aid then was like, oh no, big that day. I was wearing my sweatpants. I was looking the, like, coolest, like, Hey Mama's Mask lesbian possible. Some of you know what this means. And I was sitting on the sidelines. I didn't have the right shoes. I didn't want to participate. I just wanted to be around other queer people, other trans people. And I had this experience where over the course of this hour and a half playing pickleball, people would just come up to me, sit next to me, ask me how I'm doing, offer a hug. And by the 7th or 8th person who did that, I had to go out into the hallway and cry. Because it's the first time in my life that that's fucking happened. Where I felt seen, but also people did something about it. I don't want a Trans Day of Visibility. I want a Trans Day of care. I want a Trans Day of trust, of understanding, of listening, of learning from each other. I want a Trans Day of fucking victory over these nihilists that are trying to erase anything loving and good in the world. And tell any of you that you are supposed to be a certain way. Because they're not just coming for trans people. Trans people are the scapegoat. We're the front lines. We're the strangest, weirdest, most fucking awesome of them all. But after that, they're going down the line. And don't think they're not coming for you. So when I think about what I want out of this moment is to acknowledge for us, fellow trans people, that being visible, whether you are comfortable with it or not, it is not enough. It is the start of the conversation. I think we deserve the right to ask for the people who are in our lives to do more, to be more part of our lives, and not just let this be this, oh, weird, uncomfortable thing, maybe I'll pay the gas bill later. Let me take all of your light. Let me see all the beautiful, wonderful things you say and talk about, but not turn around and do something to help you live that life. I'm not sure that's a good deal anymore. What I'm looking for is for plenty of people. Kool-Aid thems. Kool-Aid cheese. Kool-Aid peas even. I want you all bursting through the fucking wall, coming up to me, and going, hey, Em, oh, yeah! So, that's what I want for this Trans Day of Visibility. Thanks so much, everybody.
Woo!